Lindsey Graham?
He's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet in your life.
Like, funny haha,
like
or funny
really,
what is wrong with that guy?
No, like really funny, Stephen.
Here's my point. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you believe it's Trump's fault or Biden's fault, here's where we're at as a world. The Taliban are not reformed. They're not new. They have a view of the world out of sync with modern times. They're going to impose a lifestyle on the Afghan people that I think is going to make us all sick to our stomach. But most importantly, they're going to give safe haven to al-Qaeda, who has ambitions to drive us out of the Mideast writ large and attack us because of our way of life. We will be going back into Afghanistan as we went back into Iraq and Syria.
Hang on, you seriously think the United States will once again, in a foreseeable future, put troops back into Afghanistan?
We'll have to, because the threat will be so large. Why did we go back to Syria and Iraq? Why do we have 5,000 troops in Iraq today? Because of the caliphate rising, projecting force outside of Iraq, killing Americans, killing the French, attacking the British. So yes, it will be a cauldron for radical Islamic behavior. You cannot deal with this over the horizon.
Can you explain, Lindsey Graham, how you can say that about, can you explain what the hell happened to him? He's baffling to even people who voted for him.
Well, Lindsey, he can kind of move a little right, move a little left. He's pretty good. Pretty good dancer, but he really is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Lindsey Graham, great dancer. Okay.
So I included this video, Dan, for a very specific reason. I occasionally like to test bubbles and test whether my biases against people make me unreasonable. But I can't believe it and I can't accept it, Dan. What about you?
I think it has to do with a class analysis of politics, and that when you don't see these people for who they are, as in like vessels for preventing the working class and a lot of other people who are struggling with their American experience to having a chance at a better one, but people who you don't see them as people who are obsessed with their ego and looking out for themselves and their own families and their own wallets, essentially. But when you become a politician and you see these politicians as your friends and your allies and your people, then yeah, they're jokes that would be like horribly milquetoast and not funny to all of us outside of that bubble you're kind of alluding to, John. It just kind of seems repugnant. But there was, like we were talking about a little bit earlier with some of these Boehner clips, there's a little bit of, I think Boehner's telling a lot of his truth, but there's a little bit of coded language in there. Like he referred to Bill Clinton as one of the best politicians, and for some phrase politicians that he's ever met, which is like damning with faint praise there. But like we knows what he means, like a flip flopper, and that's kind of the same thing Lindsey Graham, Boehner's saying about Graham here, is that he's a dancer, as Stephen Colbert kind of wrestled out of him a little bit. So to me, to the point that yeah, we shouldn't be glorifying John Boehner and these actions and all these different things, whereas using the fact that these people are egotistical vessels and want to spew their side of the story and have the last word all the time, based on what they're giving us, it's a look into how power sees itself and how insular it is. And that, I mean, to quote the great George Carlin phrase, it's a big club and we ain't in it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and even that for you to be able to think that he's funny, you have to be able to, and you have to look past so much. Like I know you could probably think of people that they won't even really say anything yet, and you already are about to laugh just because you like them. You're predisposed to think you're funny, that they are funny. But there are also awful people that it doesn't matter what they say. You know who they are, what they stand for, what their values are, and you'd never think it was funny. Lindsey Graham is terrible. He is an absolutely terrible person. For me, he cannot be funny. You could say the exact same thing that from someone else would be hilarious, and it just wouldn't work. But for John Boehner, there's nothing about Lindsey Graham